Hi everyone, welcome back from Thanksgiving. We're all off to Christmas and all the fun and excitement and craziness that holiday brings. And as we enter into the season of Christmas and getting ready to celebrate, obviously we who are doing Bible study know the season is about God's word, his child, and his son that he sent to be born in Bethlehem. And as we talk about that today, I think it's so easy to go, oh yeah, Christmas, Jesus is born, yay. But are we really grasping the significance of what is about to happen? The monumental, epic amazingness that God loved us so much that he sent his only begotten son so that those who believe in him would not perish but have eternal life. Oh my goodness, that is an overwhelming thought. It's so incredibly massive and huge, and I think we've dumbed it down or we've taken it for granted. I speak only for myself. That's what I've done. But as I think about this Christmas season and grasping the enormity that a holy God sent his perfect, beautiful baby into the world so that he could live and die and pay the price for your sin and my sin. Why? So that we could live forever with him is overwhelming and awe-inspiring. In Exodus 34, verse 6, God says to Moses, the Lord is compassionate and gracious, slow to anger, abounding in love and faithfulness, maintaining love to thousands, and forgiving wickedness, rebellion, and sin. He is compassionate, gracious, slow to anger, and abounding in love. That is how our God described himself to Moses. And as we enter into this season of Christmas, so many songs, so many hymns, so many Bible verses are going to be so familiar. So many messages that we hear will be so familiar that it's easy to dismiss and casual them down or just go, oh, that's so beautiful, but not take in the meaning and the significance of what we're hearing that's so familiar. This holiday season, I had this amazing visit with someone super special to me, and she asked me, do you think God can really transform people? I was like, oh, I love that question because yes, I do. I know he can. I have seen it and I am living proof of it. And she said, but do you really think God can really change people? And I said, yes, I do. I think that we are all fearfully and wonderfully and uniquely and individually made to have certain bents and tendencies and personality traits. Yet within that bending, God has molded us to make us in our natural tendencies the best we can be. For example, when I'm living in the flesh, I'm a little bit crazily spontaneous and off the rails. But when I'm living in the spirit, that same personality trait is excited, exuberant, adventuresome, spontaneity with the Lord, to run with him. In the flesh, I talk too much, and a little bit I'm brash and harsh, and maybe even a little bit talk too much. In the spirit though, I'm bold, I'm certain, and I'm strongly inspired by the Spirit in my boldness and in my confidence and in my words and speech. So my personality doesn't change. It's which side of the coin is coming out of my life. So as I had this conversation with this special person in my life, we were talking about when you go through epic trauma or hard things in your life or heartache and hurt, do you the rest of your life become someone who deals and copes? Do you just develop mechanisms for living out that pain in the most helpful and positive way possible, but yet, you're just dealing and coping through life? And I said to her, I don't think so. I don't think God would have sent his perfect child down from heaven to die on the cross so that we would be dealers and copers. And I said, but also his word doesn't support that. So as we were talking, a couple of things came to mind to me. And I thought about all fall, what we've been studying in Bible study, about these different people that are just like us throughout the history of the Bible. Genesis, we made it up to Gideon. And we were talking about wisdom, understanding, and knowledge of God. And we said that knowledge is knowing his word, and therefore knowing him and his attributes and who he is, how loving, compassionate, and abounding in love he is. And wisdom is being able to apply that knowledge that we have. But understanding is that just in your soul of soul and heart of hearts, knowing that you know God and you know he's shown up for you. And I believe that's what transforms and changes a life, is the experience, the encounter, and the engagement with the Most High God in a personal and meaningful way. And in Acts chapter 17, Paul is giving a sermon, and he says, "The God who made the world and everything in it is the Lord of heaven and earth. He does not live in temples built by human hands, and he is not served by human hands as if he needed anything. Rather, he himself gives everyone life and breath and everything else." So as we were visiting, it got me really thinking about, can God heal? Wholehearted healing, where yes, you'll always have sadness about this or that, or heartache about this or that, but you're healed so whole that you come out of it, and just like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego that went into the fiery furnace, they came out with no smell of smoke. So how do we wrap that back around to Christmas and what God says? Well, in his word in Isaiah 9, verse 6, he says to us, "For unto us a child is born, to us a son is given, and the government will rest on his shoulders, and he will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. Of the greatness of his government and peace, there will be no end. He will reign on David's throne and over his kingdom, establishing and upholding it with justice and righteousness from that time on and forever. And the zeal of the Lord Almighty will accomplish this." This is 750 plus years before Christmas Day, before Jesus was born. This was prophesied of who he would be and what he would do. Wonderful Counselor and Prince of Peace is in his character. It is who he is and what he is made of and about and for me and you and every wounded person that trusts in him. And my favorite verse, my life verse, I say favorite verse probably every week I teach Bible study, because this word is so full of life and favorite verses for me. But I particularly love Isaiah 61 because it's the culmination of the Wonderful Counselor and the Prince of Peace. It is also 700 plus years before Jesus was born. This is written as prophecy about the Messiah that was coming, being born in a manger in Bethlehem, and why God sent him and what he came to do. Isaiah 61, it says, "The Spirit of the Sovereign Lord is on me, because the Lord has anointed me to proclaim good news to the poor. He has sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim freedom for the captives, and release from darkness the prisoners, to proclaim the year of the Lord's favor and the day of vengeance of our God, to comfort all who mourn, and to provide for those who grieve in Zion, to bestow on them a crown of beauty instead of ashes, the oil of joy instead of mourning, a garment of praise instead of a spirit of despair. They will be called oaks of righteousness, a planting of the Lord for the display of his splendor. Y'all, he came to set us free, not to cope and deal. He came to replace our mourning and grieving with beauty and the oil of joy, not to say, oh, yeah, you're just going to deal forever and I'm going to set you a little bit free. Maybe I'll give you a window in your cell. No, he came to bind up the brokenhearted and to set us free. That is why Christmas is an amazing celebration that God sent that baby down to save you and me and heal us wholeheartedly. So we are never coping and dealing. Why? Why? Because he loves us. He is abounding in love and compassion. And so that we will pay it forward and be beacons on a hill, living proof of what he can do in a life and how he can transform and heal and bind up. So enjoy your Christmas season with your family. And thank you for tuning in today. I love spending this time with y'all remotely.